All right, let's get started. Thank you everyone for joining this talk where we're going to talk about a very exciting um, piece of software, the cloud software that we found while we were doing some integration work at Simpat. It's a service called Zapier. Zapier, what it is it's a product that allows users to integrate the web applications they use and automate workflows. Basically, what it does, it perhaps some of you already know some features or some applications in the web, especially when you work with Azure. You probably have heard about logic apps or some workflows that you can do with all the power stuff that we have there. Well, but basically the only problem with that is that you have to use Azure to do that, or you need to at least have some kind of endpoint that works with Azure. And Azure does not have, they don't always have integration to all kind of applications. So you have to actually build sometimes, you sometimes have to build connectors for those applications. So what Zapier does for you is actually, it's not an open platform, but it's something that allows cloud applications to expose their APIs through a single repository. And what that allows you is to actually interconnect those between them. For example, I could connect something from Google Calendar into Soho, or I could get something from Twitter. If I get a Twitter, I can just make sure to add that to SQL Server or send a Slack message. I mean, we could integrate everything with everything, which is actually pretty cool. And the best part of that is that you don't have to do any code for that. Basically, all you have to do is to just select the services that you want to integrate, create a workflow, drag and drop the data that you want to get from each one of the services, and just click integrate, and you're done. That's all you have to do. And if you're wondering what kind of services you can have, I mean, they have a huge list of any kind of stuff that you can do. You could have Google Docs. You could have Slack, Twitter, Trello. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. You could even have a standalone SQL server. You could have an Excel file mounted in OneDrive. There's a lot of stuff that you can use to do this. And the best part is all you have to do is to set up that, and you'll be able to monitor and see the results and all that. So this is, for example, this is an example integration that we could do. Let's say that I have my Gmail account, my corporate Gmail account, and in that Gmail account, I get a new message. What I can do is actually read that email. Whenever it arrives, I will read the email, uh, get the attachment, and copy to Dropbox.
Oscar,
And
are you sharing your screen?
oh, you're not seeing my screen?
No.
Oh, thank you for telling me, because I thought I was sharing it.
Yeah,
All right.
Moises posted the question. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna back up a later just to show you. Right. So let me just remove this. I don't know why this is here. All right. Let's leave this here because I don't know how this. There you go. So once again, you can integrate all kinds of services with between each other. They have a big list that you can look up. And you can integrate all of them. You can see, for example, you can commerce, communication, Internet of Things, marketing, sales to CRM. You could even get Salesforce to interconnect and read stuff from Gmail and between all of them. And again, this is an example workflow. You get an email from Gmail, you get the attachment and move it to Dropbox, and then you will ask it to automate that and send a message to Slack to let you know that you have a new message and that you got an attachment to that. And that's just a simple one. And the best part is that you can even do it for your own. They have a free tier where you can just set it for any kind of reminder that you want. You can do it to automate little things that you want to do. When it comes to the pricing, you would see that it's not very expensive. I will explain what all of this means in a second. As you can see, you could have 100 tasks per month. A task is basically one step. For example, whenever I do any of this, that will be a task, right? So I will be doing, for example, the trigger doesn't count, but every action would be a task to do. So this trigger will consume 2 actions. So what happens, I will do 100 tasks per month for my free tier, and I could scale it up. And you can see the price is not very steep. It's very affordable. And why would when would we use this kind of integration? Let's suppose that you have a client that they just want to start a very basic integration, and you see that they the need that they have, they don't have like a big need that actually requires us to set up an Azure account and all that, or all they would just want to do is, you know what, I have this Google, I'm an old-fashioned person, I just want to do whatever I get these Google Docs, I want to trigger workflow and send emails and all that stuff, instead of having to go through all the, even when Azure is very simple to use, sometimes it could be easier to introduce them to these kind of services where they can actually do some basic stuff or tweak it a little bit, you know. So so what would be the advantages of using a service like this? And that we will go to a demo after this slide. You don't need any code. You don't need to do any code. You do very fast integration. You get reports and logging. It's really easy to modify the workflows. It's a great way to start automation or set up proof of concepts, stuff. A very small price tag, and you could even use the free tier to just show how an integration would work. The disadvantages: not every action will be available. As I mentioned at the beginning, every API decides what to expose. So it's different that, for example, Salesforce, they may decide that all you can do is just read or write a record or just update one kind of record. But if you want the full features that you get using the direct implementation, then you would have to go and do those yourself. But I think the first step that you will have to do is, if you want to do an integration where you know it's going to be something very simple, take a look at what Zapier can give you and see if the actions that you want to do are available for that API, and you'll get started. So let's see a little demo about how this does. But before that, does anyone has any questions about what I've mentioned so far?
Nope.
Right? I don't see anything. So let's do a little demo. How would we create a small workflow for this? So let's see. All right. So I'm using a third-party service that is called Paperform. That is actually just a small. It creates forms, right? So I just create a form. I say what's my last name, what's my first name. My name is Oscar Almaraz. I will put my email as Oscar.Almaraz@Simpat. It asks me to upload a lanyard photo. I'm going to just select something here. Let's select this image. What's my Twitter handle? Let's say that my Twitter handle is at I don't know, Yankat. And I can submit that information, right? So that's all it does. And what I want to do is, whenever this gets sent, I want that to be included in this Google Docs worksheet. So what I would actually have to do is I would come to Zapier and I will create a new SAP. You can see they even have some suggestions here depending on what you want to do. I will just create a SAP. I will select the service that I want to do. For example, in this case, I want to search for Paperform because I know this one that I know that it works. The event that they have, the only one they had is eForm submission. To continue, It's going to ask me for my account. I already added that, but if you in this step, they will just ask for your credentials, and it will automatically sync those credentials into your SAP. Then it's going to ask me to set the trigger, the sample sign up. That's the field, the form that I used. And it's a test trigger. It's similar, right? This is all the information that I got from my test. I used the last submission that you did. So you will see all the information that I had there. All right, so say continue. Now, what do I want to connect it to? All right, Google Sheets. What I want to do is create a spreadsheet row. Yes. What's the account? I already added mine. Again, if I don't have that, I can just connect a new account and it's going to ask me for my credentials. Continue. So it's going to ask me for my drive. It's going to be my Google Drive. What spreadsheet? In this case, it's going to be Zapier demo. What's the worksheet? Submissions. Right now, I don't have anything. And now it's going to ask me to just map all the information that I have in my form into the columns that I have in my Google Sheet. So I could say here that I want to do the first name. I could even check the title of the field of the form, or I could just say the answer. I want the answer. Last name. Let's say one last name. And I'm, as you can see, I'm selecting fields, but I could also use magic keyword, and I have some help here. Yeah, what was that? Right. I think it's just something there. So you have all the help that you can hear. There's some syntax that you can use. If you want to generate some GUIDs in the fly and stuff, you can do all of here. So let's continue mapping this. Email. I want the email address. You can actually shows me a sample of one of the submissions I already did. Photo, and it gives me, for example, when I say the layer photo, it didn't just give me the image, it also gave me the metadata. So I have the image name, I have the size, I have all kind of metadata, and even where it's stored. So I even have a link to where it's actually stored. Twitter handle. There. Go. And let's leave the bio here for a second. Just continue it like this. And test and continue. Test and review. It's going to try to do the SAP and say, hey, I was able to do it. Let's take a look here. There you go. So as you can see, just by doing a test, it took the information from paper form and added it here. So let's try this. I'm just going to turn on this app. Say don't show again. And let's try this. Let's try this again. So close this, and I'm going to get another, run it again. Say John Doe. Doe and update, send the cat again. Doe, Simpat. All right. And we come here and you see the lines already here now. And I could even go and take a look at the file here. If I want it, I can click here. I will get the link to the image. But that's not all you can do. You can actually add more steps in the middle. You can even look up information in the data. Say before doing that, I want to look for a user. I could do that. Let's take a look at the dashboard here. Where are my SAPs? My SAPs. Is it? Where is? Here it is. So this is my SAP. Let's go to it. Let's suppose that before adding that spreadsheet to Google Sheets, I would like to go to Twitter, and let's say I want to look up, I want to search for a user. if I go to say, of course, I would have to add my information here, but right now I'm not going to do that right now. But what I could do is I could just look up that Twitter handle that they gave us, go to their profile and fetch the bio that they have or fetch some kind of data that they have from the Twitter and add it to my report here in Zapier, well, in my Google Docs. So, and you can just imagine the possibilities of this. You could just push it to an Azure workflow. You could add it to SQL Server. You could do all kind of aggregation that you need. And let's take a look at all the kind of software that you have here. We have Facebook leads, Trello, Twitter, Salesforce, Shopify, Zoom. You could even create a call or automate a creation of a meeting. Let's say that you create a form in your website, and you want to whenever a user requests to have a meeting, you could just set up a meeting on the next available spot in your calendar. You could do that. You could just have, I don't know, there's a
I think we can hear you, Oscar, right now.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
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 Yeah, my microphone just ran out of batteries. All right, sorry about that. So what was the last part that you guys heard?
I think it was the first slide, Oscar. Just kidding.
No.
So I was saying you could just imagine everything that you can do, right? You can go and search YouTube files, YouTube videos, and all kind of stuff. So this is a way where you can integrate a lot of stuff. And the best part of that, even if you create your own application, you can sign up to Zapier to expose your own API, to expose your service, so that other users can use it in their own integrations. And which is actually pretty cool because it's a way where you can just create the concept of the open web, where you can just be part of this ecosystem where you are allowing others to do integration. So that's the cool part of this. At the end of this presentation, you will find there's a link to where you can take a look at all the available applications that are ready. Some of them are marked as premium. This means that you may have to pay a little extra for your monthly rent. For example, in the SQL server, you can actually connect to any SQL server, either be an Azure one or an in-house one. You just need to provide a connection string, and you will see that there's others that may require that. But you can even do actual dynamics, and it makes sense that they put a paywall behind those because they may need some extra support to make them work. So does anyone has any questions about so far?
I was wondering, can you connect to REST APIs? It's just apps, right? Not
It's just Yes, there is a way. The way they handle that, they also have the option to work with webhooks. So there's a way where you can set up a webhook and register your webhook in the Zapier, and that also works. You can also use a webhook.
Okay, thanks.
Does anyone has any other question?
Oscar, this is Ismael. In doing some testing with Power Automate, I found that sometimes you have a complete process, and if one service in the middle gets down, the complete process goes bad. Well, I think that is something that is not inherent to Zapier, but what do you think about this problem?
Yes, I had that problem myself, and there is a way where you can set up an error handling, but I still haven't implemented myself. But I know that they do have an error message where whenever if your call fails, it will at least send you a notification that it's failing, so that you know that the workflow is broken. Also, you can get set up some. You can see all the errors that you have and all the logs. So if you have any problems, you can come to the SAP history and make sure and see how it's behaving. And if there's an error, you can come here and check it. Now, I know there is a way to do that. I have not done it myself, but I can get back to you into how to do that.
Well, and supposing you were working under the Power Platform context, what would be or could be the advantage to use Zapier?
Well, if you already have, you're already in the Power Platform, I'd say stick to Power Platform. This will only work, for example, if you have, let's say that you want to connect to, I don't know, let's say Salesforce, and let's suppose that you don't have that available as one of the workflow available in the Power Platform. What you can do is just say, you know what I'm going to do is just add a record in my database, and I can say for that missing integration that I have, for that missing link of the integration, I could come here and do that integration instead of actually building a whole application on having to do that. I could use that to fill in the gaps that I don't have available in Azure. I truly doubt that you will have many of this, but the benefit of that is that you could create a hybrid where some parts of your workflow are done through this. Of course, it's not the recommendation. It's better you do it all in there. But when you, again, what you want to do is to create a proof of concept, or if you actually want to use this as to help your current workflow in the Power Platform to make it better, or add some unsupported stuff that you don't have in Azure, you could use this as an alternative for those missing steps.
Excellent. Thank you, Oscar.
All right. Anybody else? If not, I think that will be all for now. It's good. This was going to be a very short tech talk today. Thank you everyone for joining. It really means a lot to me. So thank you, and don't forget to like and subscribe. All right. Talk to you later.
Thank you, Oscar.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Oscar.
Oscar.
Thank you, Oscar.
Thank you.